Hello all, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, today is the big day. We're going to do the transport service on the Teac V-900X. And fair warning, this is probably going to be a longer video. There's no way around it. A deck this complicated is going to take forever to work on, so I'll do my best. That's all I can promise. I think what I'm going to do this time is I'm not going to talk at all when I'm doing the more mundane parts, like cleaning the various parts of the transport. That way I can speed up the footage so we can get through it faster. But yeah, it's going to be a long haul for me, so I'm real anxious to get going on this. By the end of this video, I hope that we've managed to get this to the point where it'll... First of all, we can check out the Autel system to see if that works. And what I'd really like to do is just record on it and see what it sounds like for recording, because I've waited, like I said, 36 years for this. So yeah, I want to get this as working as well as possible by the end of the video. So yeah, what are we going to do? We're going to take the transport out. I'm probably going to get right into the motorboard real quick here as soon as this transport comes out, just to see what all capacitors need changing on there. And yeah, sometime during the process of making this video, we'll check the wow and flutter too. Got to do that as well. And yeah, let's just get started. I've got my instructions here. The service manual is very, very, very helpful. So make sure you get a copy of this if you're working on one of these. Tells you everything you need to know. I've got the control cam alignment procedure printed out as well in case I need to do that. I've got the exploded view in case I need to reference it. But to be honest, this transport doesn't really look like it's that bad to service. So who knows? And I've got all these parts lists printed out and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I should be ready to go with this. Now, the stuff we're doing today applies to this model and at least 4 other models. The V700, the 750, the 800, and the 850 also use this same transport. And very likely the Z series also uses this transport, the Master series. Now, I mentioned we get into these O-rings a little bit in the last video, so let's do that now. When it came to ordering new idlers for this thing, I basically had to find an O-ring supplier that would basically do the job, because you can't get these idlers anymore from the factory. They have to be gotten through, you know, an O-ring supplier like Marco Rubber and Plastics, or allorings.com, I believe the site was. However, ordering them from allorings.com was extremely expensive. I got 50 O-rings for these because they've disincentivized any order quantity below that. And I got 50 O-rings for the Denon DRM3 up there. And combined between the two, it cost me about $100 Canadian, but then it cost another $100 to ship it. So yeah, I'm really not too happy about that, but they use UPS to ship their stuff, so what are you going to do? And my fellow Canadians will know all about this, but UPS is extremely hostile to Canadian shipping these days. I mean, they're ridiculously expensive for anything. So I try to avoid them when possible. It's just in this case it was not possible. Now, the O-rings you need for these, well, there's the all O-rings part number right there. What you need is square profile AS568-107. That's the O-rings you need. And this was the only supplier I found online to get them. So yeah, unfortunately they had me over a barrel on that one. So now when it comes to the transport service, there are a few differences I'm doing this time. For one, my Molykote EM30L is here, so I'm going to use that. No louver plate this time. I'm going to go with the usual, if I can get it here, Autel 456 for the capstan. And let's see here, where did I put them? I've also got these swabs in. These are microfiber swabs. So any place that requires a more delicate touch, like if I can get the camera to focus, yeah, we'll use those. But I will be going through the Q-tips, so I got them out and ready. So yeah, first things first, we got to get the transport out of here and yeah, see what's up with the motorboard. Okay, let me bring this forward. I've already gotten all the screws out from the faceplate. The way Teac wants you to do this is you take the top cover off first, the cassette door off second, then the faceplate off third, and then you can get the transport out. And actually, before I do this, let me go up on one side. And we'll just take the two transport screws out from the bottom here. So yeah, I can't wait to hear this thing record. It's been so long since I wanted one of these. All right, now we've got some zip ties to get rid of. Before we can pull the front panel away, as you can see, it is loose. Trying to be a little more delicate with it than I usually am with something I'm this excited to work on. All right, that might be enough to get the transport out. I guess we'll see. And I should mention that I'm taking pictures as I go along, so I know exactly where these connectors go. Very important. Especially with something this complicated. Okay, I think we got the transport loose and ready to come out. Note that there are two screws down in here you have to remove to get the transport out, and there's also one screw down over here, and they're all different sizes, so make note of where they go. We've got this little tiny one for this part, and two slightly bigger ones for this part. So yeah, keep those in mind. Now we're going to have a bunch of connectors to unplug. So I'm going to have to get rid of a few more zip ties. And I'm just going to mark out these head wires that go down to P619. I believe these come from the heads. It's kind of fighting me a bit. All right, those have been marked so I can keep them relatively separate from the rest of them. Well, I don't know. How about we get this transport out before we do too much else here. Hopefully this will come out without too much trouble. I'm not certain that it will. It's kind of hitting up against the power board down there. We might have to drop the bottom in order to get the transport out. I don't believe it comes out from the front. I don't know, maybe it could. Maybe if I just left those screws in here and just taken this one out, maybe that would do the trick. If it would come out the front, that would actually be easiest, I think. Oh, we've got a ground wire to disconnect over here. Ah, it looks to be part of the eject mechanism. So actually that can stay in for now. All right, so I couldn't find any other way around it. We're going to have to take the bottom panel off and pull the power board at least far enough out of the way so we can get the transport out. Just don't see any other way to do it. You can't really get the front carrier off without taking off a bunch of other components, so I'm going to leave that alone, and we're just going to go in from the bottom here. All right, with the bottom panel off, we can see exactly what the hang-up is here, and the hang-up is this. So yeah, we got to pull this power board down far enough away so that we can get access to things. And I see some crappy brown glue that we're going to have to deal with immediately. Right there. So let me just get rid of this. And we shall continue. We are going to have to insulate that, so let me see if I can find my electrical tape. All right, that should give us enough room to get the transport out from the other side. We are missing pieces, or losing pieces, I should say. No worries, we'll put it back together properly. You mark my words. And out comes the transport. And boom goes the dynamite. Swore I heard something fall. I will have to go looking for it. Let me shut you off real quick, and we'll go around to the other side and start working. All right, before we start working, this is the thing that fell out. And I'll show you where it goes. It goes right there. You can just see the outline from it. So yeah, it would go in kinda like so. It's just a spacer for the transport. So I'm not too worried about it. I am worried about getting it back in properly, but that's neither here nor there. We'll deal with that as time goes by. And I did find some more crappy brown glue to deal with too, but we'll do that later. For now, we're going to attack the motor board. See what we got going for capacitors there. Actually, I think there's only one. I'm checking out the flywheel here. Actually seems really well lubricated yet, so I don't know how much of this absolutely needs to be done, but we're here. We're going to do it all anyway. I'm going to want to take this door off because we don't have access to a lot of stuff in here. I'm just checking to see which is the best way to do that. Yes, let's all fall apart now. That's what I wanted. Falling apart. Oh, well, just something else we're going to have to deal with later. There's our micro lamp for the cassette well right there. So I'm going to extract that from the lens. Or try to. Just a really tiny lamp there. Thankfully, I don't have to replace it. So I'll set this off to the side, and I'll set the hinges off to be with their tape door assembly, and we can get started working on this thing now. Before I get to the motorboard, yeah, the idler's actually in good shape in this, but I'm still going to replace it. I'm not spending $200 on new idlers without using them. Let me just get one of them out and we'll see for sure if I got the right ones. Oh yeah, they're the right ones. So I'll put that off to the side and then we'll deal with that by and by. There's really not a lot going on in the front here. I like this. I'm hoping there's a way I can lubricate the head block without losing azimuth. But we'll see. We're going to service this pinch roller as well. And I'm just noticing now that the arm is cracked. I don't know if there's anything I can do about that, really. But we'll have to take the pinch roller off and lube underneath of it. Or lube the shaft, I mean. So, yeah, we'll get to that by and by. But for now, I want to get into this motor board. And then we'll see what we got to deal with here. All right, it looks like we've only got one capacitor here. Let me zoom in. It's that one right there. And what do we have here for a value? Well, it's an 85 degree. What value though? "10 microfarads, 16 volts. I do believe I have that capacitor. And yes, I do have that capacitor. Focus! This one's 25 volts, as you can kind of see. But that should do fine. Doesn't matter if it's a little high. The important thing with this board is to remember that you don't want to screw around with the... let me show you here. You don't want to break any of these little wires here on the motor coils. That would not be good. So I'm going to try not to do that. And here is the speed adjustment for this unit. It's real hard to access with the deck in the machine, but I think we can do it. So yeah, just the one capacitor and that's it. This here, I believe, is a coil. And disc capacitors like the one on the end here. Come on, gimbal, move a little quicker. Yeah, that one we're not going to have to worry about. It's just the electrolytic we're going to worry about here. And before we actually go ahead and replace that, what I want to do is I want to check the ESR real quick. I'm just checking where the pins are on this thing. Now we got to zero out the meter. There we go. And I don't know why I chose these particular probes to put on this thing, but I'm going to need better probes. 4.0. If we go by the chart here, that's high, so we are going to replace that. Let's just check the new one, just to be certain. Yeah, 2.2. That's what a good one measures. So yeah, it is a little high. Good thing we're doing this. And yes, I know. Solder wick is good. I don't have any. So I makes do with what I has. All right, old one's out. New one going in. These are Panasonic FC capacitors. Okay, that should do it. There's no schematic for the motorboard of this thing, so we're just going to have to hope we got her. I think we did. So yeah, since we're here at the bottom, we might as well start our lube job down here as well. And obviously we got to get in there and replace that belt. Okay, before I move on to lubricating this stuff and cleaning this potentiometer, I want to check these capacitors for ESR and see what they measure. I don't know if I've got replacements for those, but we'll just check, because I gotta know. Do I have to replace more today? If I've got them, I'll do them. All right, looks like we've got a 10 volts, 100 microfarad here. Check that one first. C2 on this board. .83. That's actually good. What about this other one? I can't make out what it says. 50 volts, 2.2. C1. Just check that real quick. About 2.5. Let's see, is that any good? Yeah, that one's good too. We don't have to worry about those, which is good. Now you might have noticed that I left a little bit of mully coat down on that black gear and that one ledge, and that's because this fork has to engage with that, and I'm going to clean that off too. But we have to clean this potentiometer because, yeah, this is what tells the deck exactly where the mode gear is. So let me do that real quick. No worries, we'll set it back up in its proper spot. All right, that should just about do it. Gotta say, guys, it is going a bit hard. We'll just check again. New tire on the bottom, old tire on top. And yes, that is exactly the right tire. Now putting it on the other hand, might be interesting. This is a very tiny idler. New idler is on and seated, apparently. Give it a quick once over with distilled water, and it'll be ready to go back on. And we can continue our fun. I hope I can get this deck back together after this.
Alright, I think we're making good progress here. I just got done the reels, and I hope I did them right. I think I did. If not, I get to get back in here and do it all over again. Won't that be fun? Anyhow, it's time for the pinch roller, so we're going to do that now. Get a C-clip off of here first. I took lots of pictures just so I could see where the spring goes on this thing. So that is out. Now the fun part, we got to get this pin out. And this is indeed plastic, so watch it. It's cracked on that side. We got to figure out exactly which end to drive that pin out with. Now I don't actually have a hammer that's small enough to do this, so I'm just going to use a ratchet. I know it's really hard for you to see what I'm doing here. There's no way around it. Okay, pin is out. It appears I did drive that in the right direction. Okay, pin's not quite out yet. We gotta finish driving it out. There we go. I'm just going to leave the pin like this for now. What I want to do first is I want to measure this pinch roller. Now, I believe this has a little bit of a crown in it. Yes, it does. So replacing this might be difficult, but we'll see what we can come up with for a measurement here. All right, looks like 13.7 millimeters outer diameter. .9 millimeters for the hub, which actually I made a mistake on the Technics video. I should have measured the pinch roller height this way. So yeah, I'm going to say 8 millimeters for that one. And the shaft is 1.8 millimeters. So 2 millimeter diameter shaft. Or rather, 2 millimeter hub. Now I've got to clean this somehow, some way. I'm going to try the pipe cleaner idea. I think, yes, it will work. Pipe cleaner was just fine. Now I'll get a Q-tip. We'll clean the pin or the shaft, whatever you want to call it. And now it's time to go in with some fresh moly coat. Well, actually, let me wash this again with not isopropyl alcohol, distilled water. That's what I'm going for here. I think this pinch roller is good, so I will not plan on replacing it anytime soon. I just want to make sure it's all nice and clean. Because it was still a bit gross. Not as bad as it was, but still. Good to do it. And yeah, I think we're good. It's got nice grip to it, so we're going to be fine, I'm sure. Now, in with the moly coat. Some people use oil, but I prefer moly coat for this situation, or other grease. Because really, it lasts longer. Doesn't take much. What I'm going to do is plug the hole like that, and then I'm going to drive the pin right through it, or the shaft. And yeah, actually, it probably would be a good idea for me to do just a light coating on the plastic, like so, before we do this. Just got to keep the grease off the rubber is what we got to do. Actually, that was real easy to drive in just with my fingernails because it's cracked in that one place. So anyway, we're good to go there. Just going to clean off the excess grease. There. That's done. So, head block time. Do I want to do it? No. Should I do it? Probably. Will I do it? Well, let's see. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to leave it alone. I think it's moving well enough. So yeah, I guess that's going to be it. I just got to put the pinchy roller back on. Reinstall the transport, and then we'll see what we got, I guess. Hopefully I didn't screw up any part of this, because it's really not so easy to get into this machine. So yeah, I would like to be done with it now, but whether or not I am, we will see. Oh, and the one thing you don't want to forget about, this is the leader sensor right here. That has to be clean as well. Oh, no, wait. That's actually a felt pad for the erase head. So the leader sensing must be done through the audio. Interesting. There's no actual sensor for that I can see. But yeah, I'm forgetting something here. I wanted to go over the heads again with the isopropyl alcohol and make sure they're nice and clean. Because sometimes it takes a few passes before they're actually clean. It's best to do it from this position. I was going to get out my macro ring and try to get a real up-close look at this head condition, but I think it's actually fine. They're in really good shape, these heads. All right, so that should be the end of that chapter. So, here's what let's do. Let me put this back together, get everything back in. We'll see if it works and see if we can get the auto calibration working. If so, and then if we can get the auto calibration to work, we'll try recording. All right, folks, the thing's back together now, and hopefully we've got us a working unit to check out and see what else has to be done with it. I didn't get all the screws back into the front panel yet. I just got the 3 top ones in because there was a ground strap over here that we have to be careful of. But I'm crossing my fingers. But who wants to make bets now as to whether or not I let the magic smoke out once I turn this thing on? I'm going to plug it in now. And we're just going to see what happens. Capstan motor is running. I feel it, and I see it. And I'm not seeing any magic smoke yet, so it ejects fairly easily. It's a bit slow to come out, but that's fine. Now, what I want to do right now, and I'm just noticing my cassette well light is still working. That's good. I want to introduce you to a new tape I made. This is instead of a mirror cassette. I want to see what the path looks like. So we're going to play this one. And we're going to see what happens here. I want to see exactly what the cassette path does. I don't know what's on this tape, I do know there's something on it because, well, it's playing. Tape path looks good to me. Reel drive is working. Bit slow on rewind. But then again, that is a big tape there. 90 minutes. I don't know, it might be nothing to worry about. We'll check the wow and flutter and see what happens with that. Let me put this tape away before I damage it. Doesn't really wind very well when it's missing so much, but yeah, I just hope that the idler I put in there is half decent, because it seems like it would work better on the other idler. Let me try another tape here. We'll try rewinding this one. Oh yeah, that's fine. I think it'll work. But yeah, I guess the next thing for me to do is set up the laptop, and we'll see what we get for wow and flutter and try to dial in the speed a little better. Alright, we are ready to check wow and flutter here. Now before we do this, I just wanted to mention, I didn't show it on camera, I just did it off camera, but the heads have been demagnetized now. I suspect that was part of the issue with the sound quality earlier. But who knows? Let's see if we can get the wow and flutter done and speed calibrated. $3,003. It's actually closer to the mark than the Technics is. And the wow and flutter ain't bad either. Look at that, 0.05. Love to see it. Now, can I get the speed calibrated at all? This is very, very, very difficult in this machine. Let's see. I'm going to try my alignment tools first, if I can find them. Because my alignment tools are not metallic. Alright, I'm going to try the little red one first. I don't know if it'll work. Oh god, it's so hard to get this to this control. Nope, that one's too big. We'll try the little yellow one. Yeah, that's not going to work either. It's got to be metallic. I'm going to get my smallest screwdriver possible for this. Otherwise, I'll short something. I'm just betting on it. Let's see, that one's nice and small. All right. Wrong way. All right, I'm going to call it good right there. 1 hertz off. I don't mind that at all. Remember, this is not the machine I'm going to be using to make my speed test calibration tapes. It's good, but it doesn't quite have that kind of stability. It is bouncing around a little bit, not too much though. 0.05455.
Yeah, that's fine for a deck like this. It's not dual capstan. It's not quartz lock. You can't really expect too much from it. Teac didn't get into the quartz lock stuff until the 90s, I think, so yeah, I'm fine with that. So I'm just going to rewind the tape here. I'm going to shut this off. And we're going to try the Autel. Transport is working quite well, I think, in my opinion. Basically, this thing is about as good as my Excelia XK-007. And in terms of wow and flutter. In terms of speed stability, it's better than the XK-007. Is it better in sound quality? Well, we're going to find that out too. At least I hope so. So let me go get a tape for the Autel stuff, and I'll be right back. All right, shall we see if the Autel works? I'm going to use a Sony Metal SR for this, because I'm just going to end up recording to it anyway. So let's see what happens here. Don't know exactly how this is supposed to work, but I'm guessing we'll see a bunch of stuff in the display. I'm going to hit the button now. Okay, it is calibrating. Apparently, you can see auto flashing in there. It's recording test tones to the tape right now. Now it's rewinding, and now it's going to analyze the tones. Oh no, wait. It's finished calibrating. Okay. I don't know how to store the value. Anyway, I guess the only thing left to do is to record a song on this, and then we'll see if it works and see how it sounds. Can't wait to do this. But since that's going to be the very end of the video, I just want to mention part 3 is going to be digging into the electronics to see what capacitors are bad, what needs to be done. And yeah, it all depends on what it sounds like after it's done recording. So I'm not exactly sure when that video is going to be done for you, because I would like to have a DigiKey order ready for multiple units. And that Nakamichi on the shelf, the 480, that's going to need a bunch of stuff. So I'm kind of thinking maybe I wait to do part 3 of this tape deck for when I can get into that thing. So I need to be at around 1,000 subscribers first, or at least close to it. So yeah. With that said, let me finish rewinding this tape. I'll haul this big beast into the other room, I'll lay some music down on it, and we'll see what we get.
We take you to the Hotel Martinet in Brooklyn, where Bobby Millett and his orchestra are offering a program of dance music.
See what's on the radio. Let's dance.
We take you to the Hotel Martinet in Brooklyn, where Bobby Millett and his orchestra are offering a program of dance music.
Sounds like you Attention all personnel. Attention all personnel.
Keep this frequency clear. Keep this frequency clear.
You have to work late. And the only thing you can think about is going home for the weekend. But no luck. Let's see what's on the radio.
Autel Martinet in Brooklyn, where Bobby Millet and his orchestra are offering a program of dance music.
I know you're gonna dig this.
Okay, hang on.
Keep this frequency clear. Keep this frequency clear.
You have to work late. Let's see what's on the radio.
This is the best radio station of New York City. Base 45 could be a number one in your class.
Autel Martinet in Brooklyn, where Bobby Millet and his orchestra are offering a program of dance music.
I know you're gonna dig this. Sounds like you need at your station. Attention all personnel. Attention all personnel.
Keep this frequency clear. Keep this frequency clear.
This is the best radio station of New York City. Base 45 could be a number one in your class.
I know you're gonna dig this.
Okay, hang on.
We take you to the Autel Martinet in Brooklyn, where Bobby Millet and his orchestra are offering a program of dance music.
I know you're gonna dig this. Sounds like you need at your station.
So now that we've heard this thing do a recording and play it back, what are my thoughts on the Teac V-900X? Does it absolutely live up to the hype? Yes, it absolutely does, at least for me. Been waiting for so long to get one of these. To find out it didn't sound good would have been really discouraging, but no, it sounds fantastic. And I just gotta say, before I continue, I'm starting to be really pleased with these Sony Metal SR tapes. They're just phenomenal. I haven't used them yet where I've been displeased with the way these things sound, but yeah, on a machine like this, they're just next level good. So, how does this thing compare to my other, sort of top of the line decks? My best recorders, as it were. Well, that's kind of a hard one because we've only heard one tape and one recording. I'm going to have to make several other recordings on this thing in order to really know exactly where it fits in the pecking order. But I'll tell you one thing. It's better than this machine up here. Sorry, Nakamichi, but it's going to take more than this to hang with a Teac V-900X. Now, my question is it better than the Carver? That is a good question. That's a tough one to answer because this thing was my number 2, second only to the Excelia XK-007. And we still need to get in here and modify this, and that could move it back up into a couple of notches. I don't know. I have to get to that video yet. It's not done yet. It's not even in the planning stages yet, so I should probably get going on that soon. Maybe January. But yeah, I think this thing's in the top 3 for sure. With the Nakamichi being number 4, I guess. Now, where the Denon DR-M3 fits in with that, I don't know, because we haven't gotten to that machine yet, but yeah. Honestly, the way I feel about this now, it's got real potential to knock the Excelia out of the top spot even, I think. But the Excelia, just every tape I make on the Excelia sounds good on every tape deck I own. And I haven't really verified that with the recordings this thing makes yet. And keep in mind that this is from 1983. This model was designed, so it predates I don't know what I'm talking about again. It predates HX Pro technology, which the Excelia does have, and which this Teac V-770 also has. And I don't think the Denon has it either, but honestly, it doesn't seem to matter with this thing. It sounds just as good as the Excelia, almost. At least from the one recording I did. I did take this tape and played back this recording that this machine made on the Excelia, and it just sounds identical to me. So, I don't know. I think this might be number one, but yeah, you got to keep in mind that this is the top of the line model for 2 years running, and the Excelia was never the top of the line model. There was always the XK-009 above it, so yeah, it's really hard to say at this point. But yeah, I'm extremely happy with this thing. I can't wait to do more recordings on it. I'll probably do a vaporwave tape on it next and see how that turns out with normal bias tape. And yeah, I'm so glad I finally got my dream tape deck from when I was 11 years old. Back when I was obsessed with Knight Rider and all I wanted to do was make a decent tape so I could enjoy my music. There was no Spotify, no internet, no Napster, no nothing like that back in the day. If you wanted to have your own music, you had to tape it on a machine like this, or have a lot of money to buy records and CDs. And I didn't have the money for records and CDs, so yeah, all I wanted was something like this, and now I've got it. Anyway, I guess that's going to be it for this video, guys. Take care.